Welcome back everyone, and it's time to go balls deep! Today we will be covering pretty much every special grade vengeful cursed spirit with a brief basic explanation of their backstory and powers. This is so you can enjoy the anime and manga of Jujutsu Kaisen much more. If you watch to the end of the video, you will understand the story of Jujutsu Kaisen regarding the cursed spirits and their goals. So I highly recommend for you to sit back, relax, and get comfortable with some munchies. I do that for some YouTubers. Let me know if you guys do that for us, like get snacks and dinner and shit. And then, yeah, is that just me? No! Anyway, the cursed spirits are the primary antagonists of Jujutsu Kaisen, and we will be covering all of them that have some sort of major role up to the 130 chapters that have been released so far. Now remember, a cursed spirit is different from a cursed user. Some cursed users who are human, just like Itadori, they do turn evil for their own gain. For example, an evil human character such as Haruto Shigemo is a cursed user that helped the cursed spirit Mahito. Cursed spirits are a race of spiritual beings born from cursed energy that flows into particular notions, sentiments, and things of that nature. They are corrupt spirits with supernatural abilities that exist to haunt humanity. As you saw in episode 5 of Jujutsu Kaisen, the goal of cursed spirits currently in the manga is to destroy all humans. Geto tells them that they first need to seal Satoru Gojo and they need Sukuna, the king of curses, on their side to fulfill their goal as an organization. Now, if you don't understand what curse energy is yet, don't worry, I got you fam. I highly suggest for you to watch the video being displayed to you right now because we go into great detail. Balls deep curse technique has evolved, and I promise it will help you enjoy the series a lot more. Yes, you got that right. God damn, I have developed a new power. My balls deep prediction magic, jutsu, and quirk has evolved. Like a freaking Pokemon, I feel the power. I don't know, you're gonna have to make that less cringe. Is that possible, Kevin? No! Cursed energy is a phenomena found in all human beings within the Jujutsu Kaisen universe. This energy is used by sorcerers such as Gojo for various abilities. The limit of cursed energy depends on one's imagination, so you can say it's limitless, just like Gojo's Jujutsu technique. However, this energy is what makes up the bodies of entities known as curses. This is the only known power that can harm the curses to exorcise them from reality. Curses tend to linger at their point of origin, and the spirits have varying levels of intelligence. Only the powerful curses tend to be like humans and are capable enough to hold a normal conversation. If a curse cannot speak or have human-like tendencies, usually that means their power level is really low. So we won't be covering the small fry in this video as they're not that relevant. Furthermore, we won't be explaining the direct power scaling of these characters step by step, going balls deep, because if I did that, this video would be around 1 hour, and I don't want my editors to kill me, fam.
Otto, do I look like a machine that can just do an hour-long video and then keep going with our work schedule? No! That is not how this works, kind sir! I will quit before that day comes!
Hey! Don't angry me.
My editors are threatening me now, guys. I'm scared. Wait, guys, you're not serious, right? Please edit this video. You guys chill. Chill. Pay rise soon. Pay rise.
You're goddamn right.
Everyone needs to calm down because we will definitely cover Gojo, Mahito, and all the other characters in a very detailed power scale video in the future. That's what makes it so important to hit the notification button on the channel and like the video so you don't miss out, and that will let me know that, yeah, I can do more Jujutsu Kaisen videos. Now let's start off with Sukuna, since he's the easiest to explain and you probably know briefly about him already from the anime or watched our other video. Ryumen Sukuna, as explained in the first episode, is a special grade curse spirit but the king of curses itself. He is apparently the highest and most powerful special grade curse in the entire series. Itadori has become Sukuna's vessel because his cursed spirit and energy was sealed away as cursed objects. These were his 20 fingers from 4 different arms he had 1000 years ago. One of these cursed object fingers ended up at Itadori's school. One fateful day, Itadori ate one of those fingers. Now, an ordinary person would have died or be completely possessed by Sukuna himself. However, Itadori is the shonen protagonist, and you know what that means, right?
No!
He's a special person with a special kind of soul and a special character that can withstand the special powers and the special curse.
Of course!
Ultimately, he is able to control his consciousness through his own will. This was a 1 in a million chance thing to happen according to Satoru Gojo. Sukuna's cursed spirit and energy cannot be destroyed any other regular way. The plan of Jujutsu Shaman and Society that they have made for Itadori is for him to eat all 20 pieces and then for him to die along with Sukuna. This is the only solution that they have thought of so far. These fingers have high concentration of negativity that are slowly gathering more and more power as time passes on. This means it's getting more dangerous for civilians and the whole world since Sukuna's fingers are attracting curses instead of repelling them away. Plus, if Sukuna keeps getting stronger and stronger as time goes by, it's been 1000 years already, how will the shamans protect the world in the future? It will become too difficult, so there is a sense of urgency with creating a solution. In chapter 3, Gojo explained to us that according to the legend, Sukuna was an infamous demon with 4 arms and 2 faces. Gojo goes on to state that whilst this is true in reality, he was a human during the prime era of Jujutsu 1000 years ago, and all the shamans gave their all to defeat him. After his death, the greatest shamans weren't able to destroy his body, and this is where the curse objects come from, as 20 fingers were spread across the world. Now, to be honest, I don't want to reiterate myself from my other video that goes into greater balls deep style about Sukuna, right? So if you want to know more about the King of Curses, I'd suggest for you to watch the video being displayed to you right now, hit the notification button, and yeah, the link will be in the pinned comment. Okay, let's move on to Jogo, the volcano, a special grade cursed spirit born out of the fear humans had regarding this natural disaster. Jogo's attitude is kind of like the devil you've heard about against Adam and Eve. This is because just like the devil per se, Jogo showed in episode 5 that he has a great pride as a cursed spirit. He has hatred towards the human race and the ideology that cursed spirits are beings that are superior to humans because they are the truest form of humanity's purest truth of life itself. Since he was literally born out of the emotions of fear and hatred, he believes that humans fake their positive emotions in the world and that they are false beings that should be exterminated for cursed spirits to rule over the world. Jogo is one of the primary antagonists of Jujutsu Kaisen, and we specifically know how much cursed energy he amounts to because Geto stated to him that he equates to 8 to 9 fingers of Sukuna's cursed objects. And if you just saw Satoru Gojo vs Jogo in the anime, and that's why you pretty much might have clicked on this video, you know that within the power scaling of the story that is going on so far, the reason Gojo stated he can probably beat Sukuna easily if he was fully revived with 20 fingers is because Gojo himself, we all simp for him, right? We simp for Gojo, he's the best character in the whole show, but Gojo himself may amount to 25 to 30 fingers. That's how overpowered Gojo is, and he makes Jogo look like a complete ant in front of him. For example, Jogo in chapter 88 was shitting his pants to go up against Gojo once again.
Know your fucking place, trash!
Jogo uses his jujutsu in the form of fire attacks that can even incinerate whole people. We see his curse technique in chapter 13 as he can create mini volcanoes which have a very strong eruption that is capable of destroying everything in its path. In chapter 14, he even made firestone insects part of his curse technique that are like bees. If they sting something, they explode like a bomb. Lastly, we see him use a power called Maximum Meteor, which is self-explanatory. He creates a gigantic sphere of fire and throws it at his target. Jogo also has the ability of domain expansion and domain amplification. If you watched our other videos, you might have guessed that domain expansion is pretty much a technique where cursed energy is used to construct a 3-dimensional enclosed space or a pocket dimension per se, covering the surrounding area in the caster's control, giving them a condition of hitting their target with 100% accuracy. Jogo's domain expansion in chapter 15 is called the Coffin of the Iron Mountain, in which he creates the inside of a volcano area that is under his complete control. Any normal person or low-level sorcerer would instantly die in a situation with it, since we know he's at least 8 to 9 fingers of Sukuna, right? However, in their second bout, Jogo also showcased that he has the power of domain amplification, which is a sorcery technique technique that neutralizes all other curse techniques it comes in contact with. This energy and fluid covers the entire body of the person that casts it like an aura of ki per se. The downside of using domain amplification is that although you can stop your opponent from using their techniques, you yourself will not be able to use your own powers as well. This was showcased to us in chapters 84 and 85. This shield also cannot protect you from physical attacks, so people such as Itadori or Gojo will still be able to destroy you completely since they are naturally really powerful people. Moving on to Mahito, who is debatably the most memorable villain in all of Jujutsu Kaisen, for good reason. He's a major savage with some creepy ass jujutsu. Oh, and I do want to mention this, he most definitely looks like he stinks too.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
So let's summarize Mahito's character. He is an immature cursed spirit who enjoys playing with human emotions. For example, his first bout and fight with Itadori, he taunted him all the time, making him question how he technically killed human beings since they were only transmuted by him. Mahito thinks he was born from human transgressions and considers himself the very manifestation of humans' hatred of each other. And just like the other cursed spirits that have joined Geto's organization, he believes humans should be eradicated on Earth as spirits should rule over the planet. Mahito has no sympathy for humans and doesn't even care about himself on whether or not he lives to see the world he will create if their plan goes accordingly. He believes that reviving Sukuna is more important than his own well-being, as long as cursed spirits eventually reign supreme on the planet. His cursed spirit is derived from his obsession over the nature of a soul. He uses experiments on human victims in order to gain further knowledge regarding this very topic. But now that we have mentioned his technique, we'll start there and talk about his different abilities. First off, he's got his Black Flash technique, which is a technique that any shaman or curse is able to use, although no one is able to use it at will as of yet. Basically, when the user of the technique adds an impact of cursed energy in the span of 0.00001 seconds, yeah, I wasn't kidding there, I'm being serious, right? But if you add cursed energy within this time span of a physical attack, space itself is freaking distorted. That's right, you heard me. Space is distorted, fam. And the cursed energy flashes back. The impact of this attack is the same as 2.5 normal attacks. Mahito has another ability called Idol Transformation, which is his ability to reshape the souls of anyone he chooses. This ends up making them look all ugly and freaky like this.
Ew, you nasty ass bastard! You fucking nasty ass motherfucker! That's nasty, man!
It's also worth noting that once a soul has been reshaped, they still live, but they're in tremendous pain, and this makes Mahito one of the cruelest curses alive. Mahito can also transmutate himself into any shape. For example, in chapter 83 or so, we see him change into a fish-like creature or a flying bird. He can even split his body into two, effectively making a I almost said shadow clone, like this is Naruto. I was gonna say, effectively making a clone. He can clone himself, guys. Mahito's domain expansion is called self-embodiment of perfection, and it forms an environment where he is connected with the souls of those inside his domain. This allows him to tamper with and transfigure those souls automatically. He used this against Hanami in chapter 30, but Sakuna was like, nah mate, you ain't gonna tamper with my soul, bitch! Up next, we have Hanami, and this guy is a little less expressive and villain-like than Mahito, but he still messes you up unless you're Gojo, that is, because we simp for Gojo. I don't know why I keep saying that, but it's true. Gojo's the best character.
Of course!
There is little to nothing we know as to how he came to be, as he remained a bit more of a mystery than the other curses, but it isn't like we're 100% clueless about the guy. Hanami, like the other curses, is born out of negative emotions of forests and plant life. I know, can you imagine who's negative about plant life, fam? We need it to live and breathe. But anyway, his basic curse technique is one that lets him produce plants that he is then able to control, as we saw in chapter 51. He can also steal life energy from other plants and hold it inside the flower on his left shoulder. His domain expansion is also curse energy that happens to be on his shoulder, but we don't know what it's called. We pretty much don't even know what powers he has. He did have domain amplification against Gojo, but I don't want to spoil you guys, but this guy becomes irrelevant because he faced Gojo and you can guess what happened, right? This guy's
You should have gone
Next up we have is Doggone, and he's even more of a mystery in some ways than Hanami, but we still know a fair amount about him. Yeah, it's true. We actually don't know much about this guy. I'm not gonna spoil what happens, but essentially, Doggone was more than likely created from the fair and negative emotions of the sea. His curse technique is unknown, but we do know for a fact that he can produce water and sea creatures out of nothing. We also know Doggone can float in the air and can take a crap ton of damage and appear totally unscathed due to the massive amount of curse energy he possesses. To take it a step further, he has an attack called Death Swarm, which is where he summons an entire swarm of sea monsters that bite their targets. His domain expansion is called Tropical Island, where he can attack his prey and land hits with 100% accuracy. We also see the other curses meeting up and talking about their plans a lot in his domain, although we didn't know that for most of the series. And that's pretty much it. That's all we know about Doggone and Hanami. I'm sorry, I know you expected some bull deep shit, but that's all we know. Now, the next 3 special grade curse spirits are quite special, as they aren't just curses, but humans as well. To understand what I mean, we have to first look into curse wombs. If you are watching the anime, then you most likely already came across a womb in episode 3 and 4. Curse wombs essentially grow and change, morphing into special grade curses. A curse womb forms from a special grade curse object. For example, the curse womb in episode 3 had a Sukuna finger inside of it, which was later eaten by Sukuna himself. Now you guys might be like, but anime balls did that curse spirit in episode 4 was weak as hell. How was it special grade? Well, the only reason the spirit seemed weak was because our boy Sukuna was there to deal with his ugly ass face. If you remember, before Sukuna showed up, the spirit even had a whole domain all to itself. What is a newly born curse spirit gonna do in front of the king of curses? Bruh. So now that you guys know what a curse womb is, let me jump into something called the death painting wombs. These wombs were first mentioned to us in chapter 53 alongside Sukuna's fingers, which are both stored in Jujutsu High. These special death painting wombs were created in the Meiji era. In chapter 60, we learned that back in the day, there was a girl with some special genes who bore a cursed spirit child. Yeah, I know, you're probably wondering, what? A cursed spirit smashed a girl? What the hell is going on?
I'm confused. I'm confused right now, G.
Well, basically, this girl got pregnant from a cursed spirit back in that time, and the child was born of both cursed spirit and human blood. She was ostracized by her loved ones, which led her to taking her child to a temple into the mountains, which was run by Jujutsu sorcerers. There in the temple, she was met by one of the most evil Jujutsu shaman to ever live, Nitoshi Kamo. Because of her curious genetic makeup, the shamans experimented on her. She had 9 pregnancies and 9 abortions. Out of the 9 fetuses taken, numbers 1 to 3 were cursed objects deemed worthy of the special grade. These weren't objects formed through the mother's hatred, but rather from the hatred towards humans and Jujutsu sorcerers who kept these 3 sealed away for 150 years. They only had memory of themselves and their hatred for the shamans. They didn't even remember their mother, but only the 150 years of existence being next to each other. These 3 cursed spirits were Iso, Choso, and Kechizu. Now let me quickly run through these brothers' abilities and powers. Choso, who is the strongest of the brothers, uses the cursed power of blood manipulation, which lets him manipulate his own blood to fight. This technique is also the same power used by Norotoshi Komo, the mad shaman who experimented on Choso's mother. The other brother, Iso, he has the power of supreme rot technique. This technique lets Iso and his brothers decay anyone who comes into contact with their blood. And on top of this, Iso's blood is poisonous, but will only be lethal if you're drowned in it. Although it doesn't sound as OP as Choso's manipulation, this ability shines the brightest when combined with Choso's blood manipulation. The brothers are more of a team rather than individual fighters. Now lastly, we have Kechizu. I think when Gege Akutami was drawing this manga and this guy, he was just like, you know what? Fuck this dude. And he just turned him into the most creepiest thing he could think of. He didn't just stop there, as this guy has the supreme rot technique that Iso has, and is probably the weakest of the 3. Now let's move on to Rika Orimoto. Yes, this one actually has a cute name because Rika was in fact a human before she became a curse. If you watched our Sukuna video, we briefly went over vengeful curses, which Rika falls under. Rika Orimoto was featured in the prequel to Jujutsu Kaisen in the Tokyo Metropolitan Curse Technical School manga, which focuses around Yuta Okotsu and his issues of being haunted by his childhood sweetheart Rika. We plan to do another video going over this prequel, so make sure to hit the notification button by the way. Rika was cursed by her childhood best friend and lover Yuta Okotsu. Rika pretty much proposed to Yuta and promised to marry him when they grow up. However, after this proposal, she was killed in a car accident. Due to this massive grief and heartbreak to Yuta, he ended up cursing her as he could not accept her death based on his fears of losing her. I know this is pretty stupid of the kid, but the boy was in love, and because Yuta is a distant relative of Gojo Satoru, he possesses immense talent for jujutsu. So you guys can only imagine how powerful that curse must have been. Due to this curse, Rika's spirit doesn't move on, but instead manifests as a special grade monstrous entity with the will to protect Yuta no matter what. Unable to control Rika's immense power, Yuta is helpless to stop the bloodshed caused by his curse. Yuta wishes to die in complete isolation so no one else can get hurt, but Gojo Satoru offers him a different path, where Yuta ends up being able to work with Rika to fight other cursed spirits and be a strong shaman. After Yuta's realization of him being the one who cursed Rika and not the other way round, he was finally able to let her go. When it comes to her movesets, well, there is not much to say apart from the fact that Rika's cursed power is an endless amount of mass cursed energy that can be shaped at will by the one that she is possessing, meaning that Rika can go head to head with the super strong curse users, even to the likes of Satoru Gojo. This is why his character is mentioned when Satoru Gojo faces Geto in the chapter 87 or so. That's how OP he is, and Gojo respects him, right? And finally, let's cover Geto. But before I get into him, I want to remind you that this is kind of a massive spoiler. So as we all know, Geto was actually a human shaman who trained alongside Gojo within Jujutsu High. However, as we know from the events of the prequel, Geto actually died. In chapter 90, we learned that after Geto's death, a special grade curse spirit was able to use a curse technique that allows it to hop between bodies by switching its brain. This curse spirit can not only take the body of others, but can also use their innate curse techniques, as we currently are seeing with Geto. The special grade curse spirit also gains the memories of the person that it has taken over, so it knows Geto's connection with Gojo, for example. However, as of yet, nothing else is known about this curse spirit, or even if it's entirely a curse spirit at all. But I just thought we should mention it in this video because people in the comments would be like, bruh, you didn't cover Geto. Please don't kill me. I tried my best. Okay. Let's move on. Lastly, we move on to probably the final confirmed special grade on our list, the finger bearers. Well, you know, actually that's kind of deep. There is one called the grasshopper, but he literally dies in 3 chapters as a plot device to showcase Itadori's newfound curse power and growth as a character. The grasshopper curse was meant to represent the fear of famine, which humans tend to have, as they can destroy crops and all the food on earth if they swarmed a land. This curse spirit looks like a human-sized grasshopper with 2 pairs of arms. Yuji Itadori encountered the grasshopper curse munching on a human corpse when he entered the Shibuya station. The young sorcerer asked the curse about Mahito's whereabouts, to which the grasshopper responded by answering the goddamn question and adding that it's protecting a curtain which was casted to enact a plan of capturing Gojo. Itadori straight up gets rid of this curse, and even though it was a special grade, and he destroys him within 3 chapters. There's nothing else to say about the grasshopper curse. So lastly, we do have the finger bearers, as a type of curse spirit that have become special grade after devouring one of Sukuna's fingers. So far, they are shown to be intelligent curse spirits with a penchant of cruelty and toying with their opponents, much like Sukuna's personality himself. You guys already saw a finger bearer in the anime in the form of a cursed spirit born through the cursed womb in episode 4. But with everything said, there are many other curses that are lower grade, and I'm sure many special grades will be introduced in the future nature of the manga. I didn't go into much detail on the basic curses to the weaker ones like the fly heads, who are explained in chapter 21 that they are small time curses that aren't capable of anything and they are the lowest grade 4. Anyway guys, that is everything that you need to know. You now have learned what is the point of the cursed spirits, what's their objective, you know all their powers, all the basic shit to enjoy the anime and manga a lot more. If you want more Jujutsu Kaisen topics, let's try and get to 10,000 likes, and please follow us on Discord, social media. You guys get the point, and I'll see you next time.